Hey, this is Clayton, and in this video, I'm going to talk about one little belief that I've noticed a number of women hold on to about men that is really detrimental to your dating and relationship life. It can actually block intimacy, it can block connection, it can make dating just a frustrating experience. And the belief that I'm going to talk about is one that came up in the form of a complaint by a client that I was working with. She said to me, Clayton, the problem with dating nowadays is guys just want one thing. They want non-committal, no strings attached sex. And I heard that and I empathized with her immediately, and I totally got it, right? I mean, with Tinder and Ashley Madison and all these other ways that men can now discreetly go find a partner and hook up without even having to leave their house, it can be really easy to lose faith in the male species, right? But see, holding on to that belief and not challenging it actually creates just tension in your dating life, and it puts you at odds with men. Because rather than feeling aligned with them, feeling like you both want the same thing, it feels then the subtle energy is one where you are having to barter sex, your body, for an emotional connection with a guy or a commitment from the guy. And then there is a power struggle rather than a dance because the two of you don't want the same thing. That's the belief. Now, let's question that. Let's shift that. Because if you believe that men don't actually want a long-term relationship, it's going to create insecurity in the relationship where you're not going to feel safe. You're going to feel that he might leave at any moment. You'll feel that somehow you trapped him and that he doesn't actually want to be there. And then the connection and the intimacy between the two of you is thwarted on some level. So I recently ran a survey with about 10,000 guys. I got several hundred responses back. And one of the questions that I asked them was, what do you want most out of your love life? A, to date multiple women. B, to date a higher caliber of women. C, to find a long-term committed relationship. Or D, to find and fall in love with the woman of my dreams and marry her. Now, based on that belief, how do you think men answered? Probably A or B, right? It was actually the exact opposite. Men weren't interested in dating multiple women. About 86% of them responded that they want to either be in a long-term committed relationship or find the woman of their dreams. And by the way, this survey was sent to single men that are in the dating pool right now. And there's also been other surveys done around this by askmen.com that have yielded similar results. Now, with this data, you can begin to let go of this belief that men just want sex. Now, I'm not denying that men don't want sex. The belief, though, that men just want sex is the one that is disempowering. The new one is men want sex. There's no denying that. And they want an intimate emotional connection. But why is it so hard to see that with guys? Why is it so hard to actually experience men wanting an emotional, deeper connection out there in the real world? Well, it's because of a couple reasons. The first one is that men have a very small and limited scope of how they feel they are allowed to emotionally connect with women. And many times, sex is a bid or a vehicle for them to achieve connection, the connection that they're looking for. See, back in my early 20s, I was working with men in social dynamic settings, helping them become better with women, helping them date and get into relationships. And an overwhelming amount of the men that I talked to and work with secretly did want to find the one woman. They weren't interested in just dating multiple women. There were a few guys out there that wanted that, but most of them did want a deep emotional connection. And many of them had no idea how to create that emotional connection except through initiating and wanting sex, wanting to merge with the woman. Being able to see what's actually happening behind the curtain of the man's mind and understanding that guys do want emotional connection. They want a long-term committed partner. There is a new way that is available for you then to interact with men when they are sexually advancing, rather than taking it personally, rather than thinking that the guy just wants you for sex and that he's wanting to use you, rather than thinking that it's somehow a reflection of your value because he's initiating sexually and you're thwarting him, and there is a wrestling match that then occurs, perhaps you can take this new belief that behind that motivation, behind that initiation of sex, he is looking for a deep emotional connection with somebody. There is a level of openness that then you can bring to the interaction, and a dance that you can bring to the interaction rather than a wrestling match. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to sleep with the guy. That doesn't mean that you have to compromise your values or sleep with him to give him the emotional connection that he's looking for. You can still maintain your values and you can still maintain your standards. But the way that you show up to his sexual advances can be one of, rather than just outrightly rejecting him or subtly shaming him, it can be a deflection of one where you can appreciate it and dance with the energy and deflect it in a graceful way, knowing that underneath it, it's actually just a bid for him to get closer to you. And there is a way that you can then get him to chase you, which is what he wants. There's a way that you can give him the green lights then. There's a way that you can create the space for him to fully feel accepted by you with his male desires without trying to change him or thwart his masculinity in a very direct way, which ultimately ends up shutting him down and stopping him from wanting to pursue you. So many women that are holding on to that belief of men just want sex, they do take the sexual advance personally, and they feel they got to draw these really solid hardline boundaries. And what that ends up doing is the man feels shut down in some ways and just stops pursuing altogether. Now, I know that there's some guys out there that when they do pursue, they pursue very hard, and maybe they are very bold and inappropriate with their sexual advances. And I'm not saying don't draw solid boundaries with them, and sometimes that is completely necessary. But be conscious of how and when you are doing it, and make sure that you're not just providing or creating a blanket belief around all men where the sexual advance is one that you're finding disrespectful and you're shutting down good guys that are actually looking for something deeper. My name's Clayton Olson, and if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, like it, leave a comment below if you've got a different perspective or if you resonated with it. And feel free to join my mailing list as well by clicking on the link below and typing in your email address on my website, where you will get 8 secrets to create a rock-solid relationship. Thanks.